So the first graphic I'm going to show you is called a chord diagram, and it looks at all the conversations that happened and how they interconnect with each other. So it's really quite interesting looking when you look at it this way, and you can see how much interconnection there was between the conversations we had. The biggest conversations are noted by the largest bars. So for example here, outreach and events was the largest topic that came up within all of the conversations. And when we look at it, how does it tie in with other things? So it ties in with ideas around outreach and events, the snoozling room, communication positive, which anytime there's a P after, that's what it stands for. And if there's a negative, if it's a negative, there'll be an N. Community events, getting into the community, working with healthcare, schools, colleges, neighborhood, and that was an interesting one in how people wanted to be more connected to those neighborhoods in which they're in with the services. Fundraising, community groups, to be more connected, Facebook, the RCMP, and Alcoholics Anonymous. So it gives you some idea of where the outreach and events that the staff thought that would be a good idea. When we look at ideas, though, we see lots of other things and really great ideas and really all over the place. But outreach and events really stood out. That was one of the largest areas. And again, it was tied again with community events and getting out and participating in those. So those two things will tie together, and I'll work to make sure that they do indeed tie together. Again, doing more communication is obviously necessary. And then there's just a lot of different areas, everything from animals to, highlighting the experience to participating in parades. There's lots of different areas where we can look at and how to connect with community. It's very interesting to note that community was both positive and negative here when it came to ideas. So, that's not unusual, and so we don't need to look too deeply into that, but there's great ideas within here. One that also stood out to me was, getting involved with those organizations that you're naturally tied to, from schools and colleges to community groups that are out there that exist, and those partner agencies you have. Next up, how does the snoozling room? Well, obviously with outreach events, which is what we actually have planned, but how to tie in closer to healthcare and help to get people aware in the healthcare business that this room is available. And looking at community events and positive community communication that would happen around that, as well, keeping in mind that there's going to be some negative that some people have brought up, and again connecting with schools and colleges. So another area that showed up within this is that there's some concern over the training. So it was suggested by some staff to look at training those partner agencies and those groups. That said, they were also concerned about who was going to clean the room when it was done. So that's something that will have to be figured out as well. And just how to not promote it too much that it becomes too well used and isn't available for Mountain Plains and their team.